Hi guys, Alex Taylor down here at St Anne's Old Links, and we're going to do a quick tip, or a few tips maybe in the video, on how to make you a better chipper of the golf ball. So big thing for me with chipping is, guys talk about feel. The first thing you need to be able to do is strike the golf ball consistently. If you can strike it consistently, you can start developing some feel, but without that strike, you've got absolutely no chance of being a consistently good chipper of the golf ball. So we're going to run through the basics. Now, for me, the lowest point of your swing is always middle of your feet. So I like to see the ball nice and central. I like to see maybe a slightly narrower stance, only because I think when I stand nice and wide, it feels like a big, powerful golf swing. So I want a slightly narrower stance, ball in the middle. I tend to go down the grip a little bit, and I use the same gripped chip that I put with. Now, I know for some of you guys, if you've got different ways of holding it, that might not be that easy. So you would use maybe a more traditional golf grip for your full shots. But for me, my putting grip is there. So I've got the ball nice and central down the grip. And then all I'm really looking to do is I'm looking to create a little bit of downward strike on the shot and to move the bottom of my swing slightly forward. So from here, I'm literally just going to move my sternum in front of the golf ball, get maybe 70% of my weight on that front leg, and then all we're looking to do is keep the weight on that side as we play the shot. Okay, so we can get ourselves set up there, weight left, and just nip that ball away, nice crisp strike. Again, we're going to set up, down the grip, putting grip, sternum forward. Length of swing's big. I mean, obviously the length of your swing is going to control how far you hit the ball. And I hear a huge amount, even with a lot of coaching things, and there's lots of opinions, I'm not saying mine's the right way and others aren't, about guys talk about being the same length swing both sides. The big thing for me is I think you need a little bit of acceleration through impact. And very often if you ask people to chip a ball or to throw a ball underarm, you generally see better distance control when they throw a ball. And if I do that and throw it underarm, for me, we learn this as a young child. However far back we go, we're actually a bit longer on the way through, so it gives that little bit of smooth acceleration. So that's all I'm looking for with my chip shot. However far back I'm going to go, I want a little bit more on the way through. And like I said, if you can be striking it well like that, that'll move us into the next part of the video. Okay then guys, so we're on to the second part of the video now. So we've spoken about how we're going to set up and what we're looking to do with our general chipping action. But now the key is actually executing the shot properly. Now, here's a little question for all of you watching. When you play a chip shot, where do you try and get the ball to finish? Now, just pause the video, have a think, and then press play. So how many of you guys said dustbin lid? Okay, I understand the concept that if it's nice and close, you know, it gives us a chance to one putt. But how many of you guys out there genuinely try and chip the ball in the hole every single time? Probably not as many of you as there should be. So we're always going to try and chip the ball so it finishes in the hole. But there is another point that becomes more important, and that's actually our landing point. So there's two schools of thought, and you can use either. You either pick a club to play, and then from that club you pick your landing point, or probably more the way I would view it is I choose my landing point first, which for me is generally as close as I can but on the green, because then I know how the ball's going to react, and then that club, if it lands there, should roll down to the hole. Okay, so we've got this straightforward little shot. I've picked my pitching wedge. I'm going to look to land the ball just in that first kind of foot on the green. Hopefully then roll down and go in the hole. And my routine would always be, I get in over next to the ball, I have two practice swings looking at my landing point, and then I set up and try and execute. So I landed it a little further than I wanted. Okay, so it's finished pin high. So we could look at that and say that's a decent result. Wasn't necessarily the shot I tried to play though, because if it had landed where I'd picked, that would have probably been a little bit too close. So again, we're going to go through. I think that one maybe went a little higher as well. So go through my routine, pick my landing point. That felt better. And again, you know, not bad. So we've kind of spoken about technique in the first part. The second part for me is very much about, we said execution, but also thought process that's involved with that. You know, I want you guys to try and chip in every time. I also want you to decide on picking some landing points. A lot of guys I see don't even consider landing point. Now, my opinion is if you haven't got a landing point, I'm not sure how you know how big a swing to make. So make some good decisions. Think about a chip shot like you would see the guys on TV. You know, they're trying to chip in. We're only moving the club a very small distance, so there's not a huge amount of athletic ability required in that. And make sure your feedback's accurate. I think if you land the ball exactly where you want, you've played a great shot. If it ends up nowhere near the hole, you've just shown very poor judgment. Predominantly, from poor judgment, you will gain good judgment. So, good feedback, make sure you practice the right things, hopefully chip the ball loads better than you've ever been, and if you chip really well, you won't need to putt. But, as ever guys, thank you for watching, hope this video helps. Hopefully now the weather's starting to get a little bit better down here at Old Links at Lytham Golf Academy. I'll be out doing some course vlogs, a bit more short game stuff, and a little bit more coaching content on there as well. Okay guys, so hope you've enjoyed the video. As ever, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. Follow me on the social media platforms if you don't already. Subscribe to the channel so that you're one of the first guys to get my videos. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.